I'm Matt Sleep. I'm the Design Director for Footwear for our special projects and collaborations here at Converse. A lot of times collaborators have amazing vision, but they don't have an experience in footwear creation. So that's where we really come into play. I'm really helping link the two things and ideally making the best product possible. The 70s Chuck Taylor came back into market in 2013. It really embodies the most collectible era of our long Chuck Taylor history. There's some really key differences between the 70s Chuck and the classic Chuck Taylor that we have in the market. The upper pattern is very slightly different from the classic Chuck Taylor, and we reinforced this with much more durable heritage canvas. That was essentially a back canvas that was more durable for playing in. You're going to see noticeable differences in the rubber sidewalls, what we call the rands. They're a little bit higher, and things like the toe bumper is extended, which added for some extra protection around the pivot point when you were actually playing basketball. Also, the tongue itself was engineered slightly differently. We have something on the 70s Chuck called a wing tongue construction, where in the forefoot of the Chuck Taylor, if you look at the side of the upper panel, you'll see an extra arch stitch. This was essentially locking in the tongue a little bit more into the upper pattern so that it moved less when on your foot when you were playing basketball. There's a couple of other aesthetic details that you'll notice. The license plate, which is the small rubber patch at the back of the midsole. There are different designs of that across the eras and generations of the Chuck Taylor. The one that you see sported on the 70s Chuck is obviously true from that time and era. So when we originally produced the Lucky Star in the end of the 60s, really the idea was kind of a proliferation on the Chuck Taylor family and really offering kind of a breadth of product that really spoke to the same ideals as the Chuck Taylor. This is something which should be very important to the heritage-inspired consumer. We have a brand which is steeped in history. Part of our responsibility is really to respect our heritage, but also to be able to make sure we are contemporizing it in the correct way. The Lucky Star itself is kind of maybe a little bit lesser known than the Chuck Taylor, but it really is standing for our truest form of our heritage and celebrating that in the best way possible. So not everybody knows who Jack Purcell is. He was actually a fantastic Canadian badminton player. He was nicknamed the Smiler, and that's why you see this iconic rubber smile that appears at the front of the shoe and has really made that kind of an icon in its own right. So in the remastering of it, we've really looked at the proportion and the shape and the stance of the shoe and really done our best to kind of mirror essentially the truest version of the Jack Purcell from the 60s era. With that shape, we have looked to engineer in the best available materials that still stay true to the heritage of the shoe, but really utilize the best of our abilities today. And then also really looking at how we can just improve upon the performance of the shoe in all aspects. So the One Style is an amazing silhouette. Originally came into play in the mid-70s, very much adopted by the skate community. Then through the 2000s, a lot of new people found the silhouette. And a lot of this was spurred upon us really doing a deep dive on the One Style and really looking at the shoe itself, and rebuilding it to the best specifications that we could do, just like we've done with the Lucky Star or the 70s Chuck. More recently, when we started to collaborate upon it with the likes of Tyler the Creator, to really start celebrating a new history of One Style, if you like, and really put it back into the public eye.